Should you upgrade to the S24 Ultra when it gets here? Very, very soon. It's going to be here on January the 17th. That's the announcement. Right now, of course, you can do your reservation to pre order it and get free $50 in credit towards accessories. Link in the description for that. But it's a very interesting question. And I know there's always critics on both sides because when it comes to these new phones, not a lot of people really recommend upgrading year over year because how many things are there to upgrade? But there's one important thing that I want to talk about when it comes to this phone that it's almost here. That's very, very different than the S23 Ultra. If you remember correctly, when the S23 Ultra came out under a year ago, nobody was talking about AI. We talked about computational photography and things like that, but nobody was talking about AI other than the Google Pixel phones, which they've done AI pretty well with a couple of different things. But Samsung, they're making a big push and they've already got a couple things up for AI zoom, AI camera, calling it the AI phone, Samsung AI. They've got their Gauss AI stuff that they're doing. And supposedly, word on the street is it's supposed to do generative AI on the phone, which would be interesting because no other phone can really do that at this point. Not even the Google Pixel is doing generative AI. Now, it might have some of those capabilities once Bard gets here and gets integrated, but hey, Samsung is doing some really, really good things. And if there's one thing I can say about Samsung over the last couple of years, they've really stepped it up in the software department, especially when it comes to support, updates, and it'll be interesting to see their take on AI. So when the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2 came out last year, the S23 Ultra, nobody was talking about AI. And it's just crazy how it was like this whirlwind revolution that took place over basically 9 months of 2023 leading up to this to where now that's the big push we're talking about for 2024. Like cameras, most phones kind of got that. The processor, most phones kind of got that. I mean, the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2 that's in the S23 Ultra, man, it has been such a good phone. It has saved and fixed so many phone problems that we had the year prior. The Snapdragon 8 Generation 2 changed things around from the S22. It changed things around for the Sony Xperia 1 Mark V, which I'm recording on right now, which I'm actually interested. Let me know what you think. I've got a new microphone set up that I'm testing out. So I'd be interested to get your thoughts on how it sounds compared to when I normally record with my iPhone. But Apple wasn't talking about AI. Samsung wasn't talking about AI. Really, it was just Google. And a lot of people didn't really take it seriously. Like, okay, you can do Magic Eraser, you can do the call assistant, whoop-de-doo. But, Samsung's got their own call assistant stuff. I'm really interested to see how it gets integrated with One UI 6, with Android 14, and what it can do with the Snapdragon 8 Generation 3, because the only chip really talking about AI has been the Google Tensors. And the Google Tensor G2, like it was the most powerful chip when it came to AI, but there wasn't really a whole lot of AI stuff going on there, like the jump that we've taken this year with the Google Pixel 8 and the 8 Pro, especially the 8 Pro. You've got the Gemini Nano AI that's on there now, and they're just taking the whole AI reins and running away with it when it comes to the phone. I think there's a fundamental lack of education and information. Like everybody likes to talk about AI. It's a big buzzword. It's something everybody tries to sell now. It's like 5G a few years ago. The 5G revolution that still I don't think has taken place to the extent that people expected it to because everybody was just preaching and talking about it everywhere. So when you look at AI, there's lots of different kinds. There's contextual AI for certain situations and kind of how you interact with stuff. There's generative AI, which has been the big push with Chat GPT. That was kind of the revolutionary starting point. And then you tie it in with other different AI components where you can create images. You got all the deep fake stuff. I mean, there's been some crazy stuff. I was reading the other day, there's like an entire newscast with the people and everything that's done by AI. And it's just insane. So there's lots of different types of AI, but there's also big expectations and there's also big eye rolling. It's like a 2-point tandem component because, well, some people think that the promise of what we can do with AI on the smartphones is not that impressive. And then when you say, well, there's two different types of AI. There's edge AI, which is traditionally what we think about. That's like your entry point. That's what we do with like the Google Pixel in some instances. You got the Google Pixel 8 Pro. It can't do all the AI stuff on the phone because not even the AI in the Tensor G3, not even its hardware components and capabilities are powerful enough to do everything on the phone. So it kind of breaks it down, puts it into building blocks, and it sends it off to the cloud AI. Google has a huge infrastructure for that. So there are different things that use that for, like Magic Eraser, for Magic Editor, the video boost feature that we have with the Google Pixel 8 Pro now, where it takes your video, uploads it to the server, enhances it, boosts the HDR, makes it brighter, and really kind of cleans things up a little bit. That's kind of a cool and novel feature. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Snapdragon 8 Generation 3, which now has a huge processing capability for AI, and then how they implement it in the S24 series phones, especially the Ultra. So when you look at the S23 Ultra, I call it the last of the dumb flagships, because there's not really a whole lot of crazy AI stuff going on this phone in a way that we kind of think about it, especially in terms of what you can do with AI on the phone. There's kind of a lot that's being done on the Google Pixel 8 and 8 Pro, but this is really going to be a make or break case situation, and it might be something to hold off on. Like, I know, like, talk about the reserving your pre-order. That's something I think is very prudent, because if you think you might want to get one, why not sign up so you can get the free $50 credit, right? And then when the pre-orders come around, I can almost guarantee it's probably going to end up with the double your storage, double your memory, all that stuff again. Samsung's been really good with that. So there, I think, will be enticing offers there. But if you have the S23 Ultra, I mean, it's going to be a toss up in the get go, because one, how much AI is it going to do? Is it really going to make a difference over the day to day performance? And two, how much is going to be available? If you take a look at the Pixel 8 Pro and Pixel 8, they launched and it had some AI features already. But when you looked at it, we've gotten some other features that have come out and have rolled out over the months since the phone has come out, and some stuff that they promised still isn't there yet. Like the smart zoom, I think, is another one we're waiting on. There's quite a few things that will unravel and will develop as Android 14 matures, and also as Google brings it online. We still don't have Google Bard integration yet with the Google Assistant on the phone. That's something that's supposed to be available early this year. So I could only imagine that maybe Google might be waiting for Samsung to roll out their new smartphone, their new AI phone of the future. So I think for tech enthusiasts, the S24 is a question mark. I thought that it was a nice upgrade from the S22 Ultra, the S23 Ultra, because the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2, it fixed so many things. Fixed the heat issues, the battery issues, the throttling issues, gave you much, much better battery life, and really tightened it up and made such a great experience. And I don't know if we're going to get that with the Snapdragon 8 Generation 3. I've tested out a phone or two that has it, but it was an IQ phone or an IQ, and it was also the Red Magic phone. Those were not really phones that are optimized for software and for AI. So this will be a big test for the S24 Ultra. And I'm curious, because if it shows up and it really doesn't deliver on that promise, what's the point to upgrade, right? Just keep the S23 Ultra. And I know a lot of people don't year over year upgrade. I know there's a lot of criticism on that, but hey, I like the latest and the greatest. So I always trade in my one from the year prior and I get the new one. I did that even before I started making videos. So I do this for a living. I review phones. Samsung doesn't send them to me. I have to buy them on my own. But yeah, if there's not a really serious upgrade and some really cool capabilities that are like must have, it might not be worth upgrading. Like, it might be worth waiting another year. I mean, if you've got an S22 Ultra, S21 Ultra, it's the obvious choice. But I'm always cautious with recommending people do a year-over-year upgrade. Like, if you've got the jump plan with T-Mobile, if you've got the early payoff stuff with upgrade capabilities with AT&T, there's ways you can make it work for you. But if you paid $11.99 and got the S23 Ultra just less than a year ago, or you got it 6 months ago, I know some people that comment in the videos are like, "Yeah, I bought this. I can't wait to upgrade to the next one." So we'll see. I don't expect the battery life to be a lot better. The screen will be brighter, but I don't expect the screen to be otherworldly, like, let me go get a new phone because of that, right? It's still going to have the same Quad HD Plus resolution, still going to have the same S Pen, most of the same camera capabilities. A lot of the stuff's going to be very, very AI driven. So I think that this will be a reflection point where people sit back and they go, okay, I'm interested. Maybe I don't buy it day one. Maybe I pre-order it after a week, after some of the reviews roll out. And I think this will be one of the biggest phones. You really need to wait and watch the reviews and look and see what's happening and what these new features are, if they're worthwhile. I mean, there's always going to be the flashy, oh, it's here, it's amazing, go buy it. You know, Samsung makes the best phones ever. They make good phones and all that jazz. But yeah, if there are not some serious, really tangible benefits when it comes to this AI, the capitalization with the Snapdragon 8 Generation 3, this is a darn good phone. I called the S23 Ultra my phone of the year for 2023, and it's still going to be an amazing phone this year. It's going to be really hard to beat. The Snapdragon 8 Generation 3 benchmarks aren't insanely better than the 8 Generation 2. The 8 Generation 2 is probably the best, most complete processor I've used in many, 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 many years. So a lot of people ask me, should I upgrade? Should I look into upgrading? I think it's a good idea. Reserve your pre-order, get your free $50 in credit if you do decide to buy it, but then wait. Maybe it might not be good to buy it as soon as the phone drops that morning. I mean, of course, you're going to be fighting with everybody else. The Samsung website always crashes. Like it's always a circus. But maybe it's one of those ones where maybe wait a couple of days, watch some of the videos, see what it is. And there's going to be a lot of people going, AI, it's the smartest phone ever. It's the best AI. But a lot of people that talk about that don't even really understand what AI is, how it works, what it can do for you, and translate that over to the audience. I think that's been one of the big shortfalls in reviews over the last year. Everybody's just been using AI as a buzzword, but what does it actually do? How is it implemented? Do they have the infrastructure between the phone and the cloud AI? How much of it is done on the phone? And what kind of benefits does it bring to your life? So that's what I want to look at. And that's why I'm like, maybe it's a good upgrade. Maybe it'll be worth it. But on its face right now, with what we know, I'm not seeing it so far, at least from that perspective. So we'll see what happens. I just wanted to talk about this video. Stay on your toes. We'll keep an eye at this. I'll be covering it extensively as soon as the phone is available. Once it launches and I have access to more information, I'll cover this and do the best I can to try and break it down into a meaningful way so you can make an informed decision on whether you want to get one or not. But that's all I got. Going to wrap this one up. Also, hopefully the sound is good. Let me know what you think. I've recorded on my Sony Xperia 1 Mark V. I've got this new microphone set up. So I'm curious to see how all this works out. But let me know. Let me know if you're going to upgrade. Let me know if you're planning on it. Like, what are your thoughts? What are you waiting to see when it comes to this new phone series? And we'll go from there. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you guys next time.